Hello folks, the Tech Thinker here. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and thumb up. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I would like to use some data online and trying to build a very simple web application using Spring Boot and of course Java. The aim of this project is not just having a nice visualizations of data, but just to understand how we can create so an app in backend. So read the code, analyze the data, and push it online. So in order to do that, I would like to use a data set from 538, which is a website about articles and so on, where they sometimes have some write some articles and then use some data. And what I want to do is analyze the airline safety. The data are based on the aviation safety network. I will only use the data that 538 already analyzed, so from 1985 to 2014. And this is only because I don't want to, the aim of this project is just learning. It's not about having right data and so on. So as like you can see here, we have a lot of a CSV file on GitHub with a lot of data, available seat kilometer per week, incidents, accidents, fatalities, and so on. So the idea is to take this data, work on this data, and having the possibility to access to this data online. So let's do it. So first of all, let's go to the Spring Analyzer, which is a website where you from the framework Spring, where we can just have our start package. Let's call it this group techthinker. Let's call that airline safety. Name airline safety, and then just we call that analyze airline safety. So that's it. We can, of course, let's just write it small, airline safety, and I want to change this name in airline safety. So that's it. I want a jar, Java 11. It's okay. I want a Maven project, Java, of course, and then I have to add some dependencies that I will use. So let's use first of all web, Spring Web. Okay. Then I want time leaf because I want to just use a template engine, so that we don't have to work too much on the HTML. And then I want some, I think Spring Boot tab tools are also okay. So that's it. Then I click on generate, and I will now save this one here. Now let's go to Eclipse, and I will import the project. Sorry, import existing Maven project. That's fine, and finish. So, and I have here my project now. And this is the main class, okay, that we will use. So the idea is to just take the data, fetch the data from GitHub, for the website, and then use this data. Okay, so first of all I will create a new class and I will call this class data service, and I will work here on the data. Okay, then first of all I need the URL, private final URL data equal to sorry, this will be of course a string. I forgot it. And let me copy paste this page row, and I can just copy this here and go back to my Eclipse, and that's it first of all. So now we have that. Okay, so now I want to create a method. At the moment I call this is a public void. I call that fetch data or something like that, and let me do something. So first of all I will just call a class. This class is HTTP client. Now I want to create an HTTP request, and I call that just a request, of course, a request equal to, and now I will again call an HTTP request class, and then I will here build. My laptop is really slow today with a lot of things that are open. New builder here, and then I have to give here this URL. Okay, in order to do that I have but to change this URL, to transform this URL into a URI. So I will just call URI that create, and I will give here inside URL data. So that's it. So actually just let me see what is the problem here. Sorry, and then I have to just give a build in order to build that. So actually I just created an HTTP client and then an HTTP request, and then I put the link, the URL for this request. Okay, and now I will use this client in some way. So I will just create an HTTP response. Okay, and then of type string, because what we have here are actually strings, and I will call that a response equal to. We go into the client object inside, and we send what we send. We send a request, of course, and then we send an HTTP response. HTTP response with a body handlers, and of string. So, and this should be now fine. There are some errors. Let me see why. So as in the request, an HTTP response, body handlers. So yeah, just throw an exception. So actually, then now I just want to create a string reader, which is a way to read strings, and because I want to read this file, and this file is actually a CSV file. You can see a CSV file. Okay, so in order to do that, of course I created string reader variable. I call that CSV reader equal to new string reader, and I will put here the response body. Get body. So, and that's it actually. This is everything that we need to know. So I create a client, I create a request, I create a response using my client, send in the request, and I get back then in the response the data in the CSV file, and I will take the response body, which is the CSV file, so the content of this CSV file, I put it in this file, in this string reader. Okay, so now what I want is I want to try to iterate in this file, and I will just call iterable. And actually I forgot something. This is a CSV file, so I need to go and take a library for a CSV file. So I need the Maven repository, and I will then put this one in this POM XML. So the POM XML is just a file where this is a Maven file. Well, you can just have the wall dependencies. You can remember before you just use some dependencies like time-leaf, like web and dev tools. They are all here, okay? And then I will just add the lines and also do some formatting. So now I can call an iterable of the type CSV reader record, sorry. Okay. And then I call that iter, and then format default, and I want the first line of the CSV as a header. You can see that here. The first line is actually a header, airline, incidents, accidents, and so on. This is what I want. So I will just with first line record as header. And then I want to parse that. And what I want to parse is, of course, the CSV reader. So that's it actually. So I create an iterable, and so that I can just work on this file. Okay, and this file is actually the content of this URL. So now I want just to fetch some data. Okay, in order to do that, I would like first of all create a new class, which is the class of the airline. So I call it the airline class, and then I will, of course, this must have a name, so I will call it name, and then we have an integer of incidents, and then an integer accidents, and then we also have an integer of fatalities. And of course, now I create some getters and setters for that. Let's do it. Source, generate getters and setters, select all, and generate. Oh, that's it. Fine. So we are now for this moment done. So now we go back. Okay. So, and I want to work with this data. So I will just create a for each loop, and I will just want a record. I call this record, of course, record, and I want it from iteration. So, and what I want to do? So I want to have access to this data. Let me create here also some airline name, and then some integer incidents, integer accidents, and integer fatalities. Okay, so first of all, airline name, okay, equal to, I go to the record inside, okay, and this is at index 0. Now, then I want to set the incidents, okay, numbers, and the incidents are at index 0, 1, 2, but this also, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 and 5. So I want the record get at 2, and I want also the record at 5. That's it. So now I will have, of course, a problem because these are actually string and I cannot convert from string to integer. So I have to convert this value in integer. How can I do that? I can do that by writing integer and then integer parse integer from a string, and then I will do that. And of course, also in this case, I will just do integer parse integer and put record get inside. I do the same with accidents. I will do the same with fatalities. So fatalities. Now I want to create a new object. I will call this object, of course, airline, and I will airline equal to airline equal to new airline. I use here standard constructor, and then I will have access to the airline, and I will set the accidents with accidents, right, and the fatalities with fatalities, and the airline set incidents with incidents, and of course also the name. So I have here some problem. Let's take a look. I have to initialize the variable, so let's put it in this way: 0, then 0, and there's 0. This is the start point, and let's save it. And also I have to initialize the variable name, and this is equal to. Let me do something different. I want also to add this value, which is available seat kilometer per week, which just will also be equal to 0, and then I want to put that here equal to integer parse integer parse int, and we could should be, I think, 1. I will just add this field also here, seat kilometer per week. I think this was the right name. Kilometer per week. Okay, right. And then I will, of course, create some getters and setters also for that. Source, getters and setters, and then I want to create that generate. And I want now to add also this value set to this value. So now I have to, oh, this is an error here, so I have to put this object here, because I want for every record, in this CSV record, I want to create an airline. I want to create an airline object. Okay, so now I have to put these airlines in somewhere, so, otherwise I will lose them, and I will for that just create a list of type airline, and I call it airline list, and I will create an array list for that, and I will put inside all the airlines. So I will go here, airline list, and I will add this airline here, airline. So, and now I have to create getters and set. I actually know only getter because I need this one. I have access to this, and I have now my getter. So now I want to use more Spring annotation. This is one, okay, and then actually this is a service. So I have here to use service, okay, and this is an annotation which tells Spring that this is a data service. There is here some kind of logic inside, business logic inside. So now I want to create a controller. The controller is the class where actually it just send the request to the business logic, also to the data service. And the data service will just give back some values. In this case will be this airline list. So let's create a new class. I call that onController. And I want here, first of all, I want to use this object, and in order to have access to this one. So I will just use here an object data service, and I will call that data service. I will call that data, and I will auto-wire that. So auto-wire is the other annotation which tells that I don't need to create this object. What I want is this object will be automatically created when I start the application here, okay? And this is what I want. So I want just an object like that. So I didn't make videos about Spring framework. Let me know if you're interested in the comments, then I will probably add some videos and teach you how to use Spring, which is very fine if you want to develop a web application, which is what we are doing now. Okay, then let me just create a method here, and I call that method get home. And in this method, this method should take a model, which is also a class from Spring Framework, and I will call that model. And what I will do, first of all, I will here return a string that I call home. Okay, and now I have to use this model. So in order to use it, I will use model, and then add attribute with a string and the object. So basically, I will just give a name to this variable here, so to this value here. Let's say I call that just data, and I will then go inside data, and I can call that in another way, so it's not important. These two names must not be the same, yeah. So, and then I go inside data, and I will get the airline list. And that's it. So actually I just put in this model, in this object, I put the airline list that I get from this data, and I call this value data. Okay. Now I want to just use some kind of more Spring annotation. One is controller, because this is a controller, and Spring Boot should know that this is a controller. And then I have to use here the annotation get mapping. And this is because there is a get request. You know, there are a couple of methods for HTTP, get, map, put, and so on. We use get, so we only get the data. Okay. And okay, and then I think we are here done. And let me just start the application and see if it works fine. And we have some exception, very interesting. So let's take a look at it. So error creating bin with the name data service invocation. Okay, there is a problem. What is the problem? The exception is number format exception for input string, this one. So we have some number format exception. I think the problem is that we use integer, but actually this is that big that we should use just long. So let me go to the airline. Let me just put long here, and let me change this one and this one also. So I just change it, the variable, the data type here, and also I updated the two methods, the getter and the setter. And I of course go to the, I have to go to the data service, and then I have to change this one in long. And I think I should also change this one here, because this is an integer. I parse an integer. I parse a string. I don't want to parse a string into an integer. I just want to have here long. So, and then I will write here long. Okay, this should be now fine. I will start it again. Sorry, I forgot a couple of things here. That's why it will not work. So first of all, I have to put here a value, and this value will be home. And this is the endpoint. Then I have to create, of course, the page. So let me create the page. So I go inside templates, which is a directory because we, which is here because we have in the project the library ThymeLive, and I will create here a new file, and this will be an HTML file, which is right, and I will call that home. Okay, and then I will finish. So basically I want to do this. This is the resource that we are using. Okay, so we will have access here to, let me show you here. This is my localhost. Okay, and then I will give here home. Okay, and this is where my Tomcat starts, so where I have actually access. So you can see that here Tomcat started on 8080 HTTP. Okay, and then home is actually the address here where I want to have the page. Okay, and then I will return a home, and this home is actually this file here, this HTML file. So I need to create this page. I will just go to timelive doc, and I have here, I want to create a table and just take a look at it. I think this is fine. So I will just copy and I will then paste that here. And let me just delete a couple of things, so I don't need it. This was just an example, and let me just change that in align safety, align safety application. I will not use CSS, but we can let them here. And then I will call that line safety data, something like that. And now I will use this value here, which will be name. So the name, company name, that write me that uppercase. Then I will have the available seats kilometer per week, and then I want the incidence, and I want also the accidents and the fatalities. Fatalities. Nice. So now this is for each loop. So okay, that I can just for every value of the list, this one here, get a list. I will print the value in the HTML file. So I have to put here, I change it here in entry, and I have to use here the name of this list, which is actually let me show you, data, which is this name here. Okay, so I will put that here, data, and then here I will just go inside the entry and let me take a look here. So I have name and available seat kilometer per week. Okay, so name, then entry incidents, entry accidents. I don't need that, so we can just delete that. I also don't need that, and also that. And let me copy that, and I will paste it here. This is fatalities, and I have to put this one here, and this is something like available kilometer and seat kilometer, something like that. Let me just take a look. Week. Okay. So these values are actually the values of the object airline. So every airline have this values. So when I iterate in this list with this each here, I will have an entry, which is every single airline, and from that every single airline I want to have this value. So name, available seat kilometer week, incidents, accidents, and fatalities. Okay, so let's start the application. Okay, it's not that good, but to to analyze because it's very bad HTML, but it's okay. This is not the purpose of this video. So I would like to create some comparators so that we can just sort this list here. You can see it. So here we have a problem. We have just this list is sorted by names, but we want some other kind of sort. For example, you can do that for incidents. So let's do that. In order to do that, we should create a comparator, because this is the way in which we use in order to sort some lists. So I will create a comparator of the type of the type airline, of course, airline, and I will call it comp. I will call that incidents comp equal to, and here I want a lambda. Okay, so I want actually a lambda here, and I will just write that, which is airline 1 and airline 2, and I will here says that airline 2, let me do this in this way. So that airline 2 cat incidents must be minus the airline 1 cat incidents. So I don't know if you already used lambdas, this is a simple case of lambdas, where I just take two variables, a1 and a2, and I get the, I don't know what is it, and then I get the incidents, and I do this subtraction. So actually this means that for every value that I will use compare the incidence value with the other incidence value of the other variable. Okay, let me know if you don't know lambdas. I can do some videos about it, which this is a very fast way to write some code, some function. This is actually a function, just some kind of method in which I say what I want. Yeah, let me know if you need it. I could create some videos about, do some videos about it. Okay, so that's it, incidents comp. Now I go back to my controller, and I will in this controller add this comp model, add attribute, and then I will call this attribute here incidents comp, which is the comparator, and I will do here the comparator. I will give you the comparator, and in order to do that, I will just say, sorry, I forgot to create getters and setters here for that. Only getters actually, because otherwise I don't have access to this field. So let's do it, getters. Okay, so now I go back to my home controller, and then I will just get incidents comp, and this is everything that I need to do here. Then I go back to my home. I will now copy some, I will change these values because I don't want just a list sorted by name. So I will here change a little bit of things. In order to do sorting, I can do the sort, of course, here in these classes, but let's do here in the business class, so data service, but let's do that directly with timelive on the HTML file. I will, in this case, use data, then sort, and then I will give here inside the comparator. Let me just take a look at the timelive because I cannot remember. how is it? So this is lists, and this is a list, sort, list, and compare it. Okay, nice. So then this must be a list. So lists, sort the list, and the name of the list should be what was the name of this? Data. Okay, so I will give here data, and here we give incidents comp. So, and then I now run the application. I don't have the results. I don't have the right results. Okay, something isn't right. Let me take a look at it. What is the problem? So, and the error is that we wrote here accidents and not incidents. So let's change it in incidents. I delete this one, I save it, and I run the application. I have the right results. You can see here we have incidents, and we have the airlines sorted by incidents, which is fine. I can do that also for fatalities. Let's do that, and this should now work. So let's take a look. A comparator. I will add this value here in the model. So model. Okay, so and now I go back to the home, and I will here just copy and paste this table. Okay, and let's start the application again. And let's take a look if it works. Okay, I have some error here. So the error here is that I should call it fatalities. I used the wrong name, and then actually yeah, I wrote fatalities comp. Okay, fatalities comp. Okay, now it should be right. Let's just start it. So, and now we have, this is what I wanted. We have, so this list sorted by the incidents, and this list sorted by fatalities, which is nice. Okay. Now, actually, we are done. So I would like to have the so total number and put this number here. And I know that it doesn't look great, but this is not the purpose of this video. Just wanted to show how we can create a web application with it. And also I could do more better analysis about this data, something like calculate the ratio of this value and of the fatality, for example, because this is available 6 kilometers per week. And I think this is the right value in order to understand which is the best airline for safety. But let's first of all create just a method for the general numbers. So let's create a method for that. Public will use a list. Actually, could also use an array, but I'm not sure if with timely if I can iterate an array. Probably yes, but this is not that important. And I will get call. This is why I will use the list now, and I will call this method get total numbers, which is a really bad name for that. This is fine. So what I want again to iterate this all values. So let me just copy that till here, and I don't need here a name, and I also don't need here this long, and you must return a list. That's okay. I have to throw here an exception, which is now fine. So now I should just put every value inside. So how we can do that? We can, so we have to count every incident, every accident, and every fatality. And actually we need this one, okay? This one, this is for incidents. So let's copy that also. And I will write here incidents plus equal this parse here, okay? Then I will, so actually what I do, it's just copy the values here in the column index 2 and 5. I will have the whole incidents, so I add the incidents, but I write here plus equal to, because I wanted every time this values is add to incidents, so that I will have the whole the total number, okay? I will do that also with the other values, so accidents and fatalities. And I will put that here, incidents and fatalities. And then I will just add, let me create a new list here. List of type integer. I call it total numbers or data equal to new array list. And I will then put the values inside, so, which is here. So total numbers at integer incidents, accidents, and total numbers at fatalities. So here I have some problem, total number incidents here. So this is now fine. So, and then I should return this value. So let's return this value, which is return total numbers. So let me create here a private final list of the type integer. I call that total numbers equal to new array list. And I will in this method just do this one, total numbers equal to get total numbers, and it should be now fine. Now, of course, I have to delete the final modifier, and that's it actually. So now I have this value, put it here inside total numbers, and I can, is there some error here inside? No, it doesn't seem this way. Okay, then let me create getters and setters also for that. So now in the control I would add the three more values: model, add attribute, and I will write here incidents, which is equal to data at get total numbers, get total numbers, get the value, get the value 0. And then I would also, let me just copy and paste this line here. and I would like to change this value in 1 and in 2, okay, which is the order in which we just put the values in this total number in the total number list, which is here. So first of all, we just here copied the incidents, after that the accidents and fatalities. So in the index 0 we will have incidents, in the index 1 we will have accidents, and the index 2 we will have fatalities. So now let me copy this table here, and I put this here, and I don't need this value here, and I also don't need these values here because we don't use here a list. And what I want here is just the value incidents, and here accidents, and here fatalities. You can just delete the rest, and this is fine. So let's start the application again. And we have only one value, which is not good. So we should understand what is the problem. Incidents, accidents, fatalities. Total numbers 0. This is false. Accidents and fatalities. This is false. So we start that again. And we have here the values. Incidents in total 633, and the other values, and so on, which is nice. And if you open here the page, okay, we don't want this here, this left here. So I will just delete this one here. It's not something which we are interested actually. So we just want a table. Okay, nice. Let me start again the app. So, and we have here the values, which is right. This is what I wanted. Okay, nice. So, and now I want to just add just a value so that we have a better understanding of the data. I will add here in the airline a value that I call, I think it should be big decimal, and this is something like fatalities ratio, okay? And this is what I want. I want to just add the getters and setters. That. Okay, and now I go back to the data service, and I would like to doing something. So use a value more, and this should be, so I want here big decimal, and I call that ratio. So, and I want to do some division, so let's do that. I want to write here ratio equal to big decimal value of a double, and now I want a double of this division, so I will cast the value here. And this division should be fatalities divided by the available seat kilometer per week. Okay, this should be fine. So I have now this value here, I have here. And then I should, I would like to compare, so I need also a comparator here, a new comparator. I add that here, private final comparator of kind again, of type again, airline. And I call that ratio comparator comp equal to, and again, I need here A1 and A2, and I create here lambda, and I say in this lambda, I say A2 compared to, sorry, A2 big decimal, yeah, that's right, compared to A1 big fatalities ratio here. That's fine. And then I would like to just, of course, add in this home controller the model attribute, and I will call that just ratio. And what I want is just data. I have, as always, I forgot to add the getter for this comparator. So let's do that. Source, generate getters, ratio comp. It's okay. And then let me add data, get ratio comp, and that's it. And then I will add here. So I have an error here. What is the error? Get the ratio complete. I think I have to just save the value, and that's it. Okay, so now I go to the home. I want to copy again this one here, and I want to paste that here. In this case, I just only want the two values. I want the here, I call that ratio available seats per kilometer per week, and I want here the data, and I want here the comparator that I call ratio. Okay, and then I want only one. I want the name, of course, of the company, and I want then the this. We can just delete these things here, and I want here the fatalities ratio. Okay, and I forgot something. This is, I have to add here. I create that. I have to add here to the airline at set fatalities ratio, and I had here ratio. Okay, that's it. Now let's start the application. So, and if we just refresh the page, we have here some data, which is nice. Let me just round in these numbers. In order to do that, I will just here set scale, and I will just write something like, I think 10, it's okay. And then also on the rounding mode, I will just you can use whatever you want. Actually, it depends what kind of number you have. I will just use sailing. And now I also want to just since we already used this available seat kilometer, I don't want that in the list. I want to keep the things. clean. It means I will just delete that here. So nice, this should be now better to visualize. So I start the application again, and this is the values that we wanted. So this 10, it means that 10 0 before that, okay, which means this number is really small, okay. And this is fine, okay, that's good. So let me just take a look at what we did wrong here. We just have this, should not be here. So fatalities, incidents, accidents, fatalities, this is fine. This is here. Incidents, accidents, name, incidents, accidents, fatalities, and that's it. Okay, I'll run it again. And if I refresh it, I will have here the whole value. So incidents, accidents, fatalities, these are sorted by incidents, these are sorted by fatality, these are sorted by fatalities, and this list is sorted by the ratio value of seats kilometer per week. What does it mean? Well, it means that per week, okay, there were, for this company, for every airline, a number of seats per kilometer that they flew, okay. And this ratio just tells us that per every kilometer per seat per week we had 0,00000100202 fatality, which is really a small number, okay. And the other one are smaller than this one, okay. That's great, that's good. So as you can see, we just create an application using Spring. Let me know if you like it. And we also use a lot of things, basic things for Java. So we use comparators, we use big decimal class, we use we made a HTTP request, a response, a string reader. So we fetch data from the internet. We did some business logic, some simple calculations here, and we used some important notation for Spring, service, post construct, the home controller here with get mapping, auto wired in order to auto wire this class controller here, because this is a class controller, and how to actually save our data in a model that we can use in our view. And this is the view, the HTML file, where we use a little bit of time lift just to make the thing a little easier. The purpose of this video was, of course, just try to create a web application, which is what we did. It doesn't look that bad. It's just basic HTML. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, thumb up, write comments, write me if you would like to just see videos like that with more and better, of course, application. We can do that. And see you in the next video. Bye.